Rashid and Al Martin. We are here to talk about some Michigan State and University of Michigan, different topics. So basically, we will discuss it. But before I go into that, first of all, what's up, fellas? How are y'all? Y'all doing well, man?
Pretty good, yes, sir. How about yourself?
Doing good.
Well, doing well, man.
Hey, for those that are fans of the show, just want to let you guys know that both of these guys have been on Motivate Me 313. So great guys, great men. They were both kind of like laughing it off, talking nice to each other. I'm like, yo, man, we're going to have to get this little, this friendly stuff away for a quick half hour to an hour, man. Have some fun and go hard on one another maybe or something like that, man, for sure. But thanks, fellas, for doing this. And then I don't know if you guys have it on Facebook, but if y'all want to share it too while you guys are waiting and I go over the rules, just so maybe we can have even more people. So we got people already saying... people saying that they don't like you with that state hat on, Al Martin. I just want to throw that out there.
Okay.
Yeah, you got people already chiming in. Nobody's saying nothing about Rashid.
Make sure they can see it real well right now. Let me make sure they see that green S right there.
There you go. There you
green,
go.
Baby.
Go white. Actually, you know what?
But it's crazy though, because don't get me wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong though. In the Metro Detroit area, it's so crazy to me because I feel like the majority of those in the Metro Detroit area, because I'm from the D as well, are Wolverine fans, which it's crazy to me because a lot of them didn't even go to U of M. We call them the Walmart Wolverines, and those guys kill me. So anyway,
you are not wrong, by the way. I'm in a group chat with like 25 people, and all 24 out of the 25 are Michigan fans. Like literally all of them.
Right, it's nuts, man. They just like the colors, bro. They just like the colors growing up.
So pretty much the only people that are Spartans fans are the people that went there. Is that?
No, I'm just saying I'm just saying the majority of those in Detroit shouting out "Go Blue" and "Go Yellow." Yeah, I see yellow was in the names.
6% of people who went to Michigan State, who didn't go to Michigan State, are Michigan State fans. So unless you went to Michigan State, you are not a Michigan State fan.
I could probably.
I'm just saying the majority of those who root in the Detroit area, a lot of them cats ain't got a degree to show for it. That's all I'm saying. I
would love to root for Wayne State University, but
yeah, I hear that. Well, just root for a real program like Michigan State. That's all you got to do, bro.
There you go.
That's all you got to do.
There you go. By the way, I got my brother chiming in. He said Walmart got the best deals, though. That's what he said. Just wanted to let you know.
That's a good one. Okay. Hey, touche. Wherever you shop, that's where you shop. I ain't gonna hate on that.
Yeah, there you go. For those that are watching, we're gonna have a fun show today. We're definitely gonna go back and forth with some not random, but very detailed information and seeing what they have to say. But before we do that, I do want to go over the rules. First and foremost, we upgraded to pro, so no more cutting off. So basically, you get 2 minutes to answer each question. If you don't want to use it all, you don't have to. These guys actually did get the questions because it's so broad, MSU and U of M, and I'm going to go over that a little more. So these guys actually did receive the questions, but just wanted to make sure I share that. Respect each other's answer. I guess when one person's talking, try not to interfere. And then, we're then going to let the other person say what they got to say. Both professionals here. Just want to make sure it's professional because we are live, and I do want to say that. And audience may comment, ask questions, and I'll be sure to share what you guys have to say. Like I said, audience may comment, ask questions. And then all things said during these debates do not reflect my thoughts, belief, and opinions on the topic. This is a platform for people to speak and for me to be the moderator. At the end, y'all can comment who won if y'all want to. And then feel free to always message me for any more debate ideas if y'all like. I would definitely be happy to think about that one and definitely want to go at it. So, with that said, like I said, we got Al Martin representing Michigan State. We got Rashid Mahdi representing University of Michigan. They're wearing their respective hats. So, let's get this debate started. First and foremost, I'm going to start off with Rashid. Okay, so for those that are watching, I'm going to have them name their top 5 best NFL U of M grads. So, it could be anyone. And I'm going to be honest with you, hopefully I know who you're talking about, Rashid, because I know Rashid probably went back to 1920s and 30s maybe.
No, you said the past 30 years, right?
Yeah, that past 30 years would be great. Past 30 years would be great. That, I had a specific question for the past 30 years, but you could have done it with that too, for sure. I didn't really specify on that one, but so yeah, Rashid, I'm gonna start off with you, and I'm gonna write them down just so I could have the viewers also hear them and compare them once they're all done. So Rashid, who's your top 5 U of M football players that are graduates? U of M graduates.
Top 5 U of M graduate or players in the NFL that played in the NFL. I'll go number 5 first. We'll start with you got to go with the guard, Steve Hutchinson. He blocked for Adrian Peterson. Amazing guard, one of the best guards in NFL history. So I'll go with Hutchinson first. Second, I'm gonna go Ty Law. Won the championship with the Patriots. He did his thing there. Most of these guys that I will be naming, they're winners. That's what Michigan players normally are. They're winners. Not only in the college realm, but also in the NFL. So you got Ty Law. I'm going to go with a current player right now, Brandon Graham, who's doing a thing up in Philadelphia. Also has a ring. And you can argue that he probably should have been the MVP of the Super Bowl championship that they did win. Number 2, Charles Woodson, of course, amazing. One of the only few defensive players to win the Heisman. Did his thing for the Raiders, for the Packers, won another championship in the NFL. And number 1, of course, this pretty much, there's no argument. The greatest of all time, 6-time Super Bowl winner, Tom Brady. And I'm pretty sure I can put up my number 1 against any 5 that Al has. And Tom Brady will come out. So my 1 versus your 5, Tom Brady wins.
Wow, 1 versus all 5.
That's my top.
There you go. Well, Al, well, there goes his top 5. Go ahead.
Before we start the clock, can I say this?
Yeah.
See, man, I can't even argue against that because it's Tom freaking Brady. Okay, nobody knew Tom Brady was going to be Tom Brady. It should be like a caveat, like, everybody but Tom Brady. Okay, I get it. Tom Brady is the GOAT, even though he was at U of M for a cup of coffee. I get it. Okay, he's probably right. You're probably right there, Rashid. Go ahead.
For sure.
All right. I'll take that on the chin.
Yeah. I know. Unfortunately, I know you knew that this was going to happen, but I just wanted to get something, you know what I mean? And I knew that you could come up with something that would debate Rashid's top 5, hopefully. So I'm going to let you go now, Al, and then y'all can start discussing. I'll share with everybody of what both top 5s are, and then we'll share with everybody. So, Al, who's your top 5 MSU grads that played in the NFL?
Definitely. Well, you know what? When I first got the question, man, I wanted to kind of take a different angle, and I wanted to go with those who are currently playing, because I think that the recent success of Michigan State and the perception of this program prior to the D'Antonio era just shows you how far this program has come. So, with that being said, I'm going to take a little different route. Those currently playing in the league. In no particular order here. Kirk Cousins, say what you will about him, and I know his consistency is up and down, left and right, but this dude has had some moments in the league. He is, again, it's been a roller coaster for Kirk, but going into now his 3rd season as Minnesota's franchise QB, coming off his first playoff win as a starter, he's a former 3-time MSU captain, completed 70% of his passes for over 3,000 yards when he was a Spartan under D'Antonio. And also he's a Pro Bowler. There ain't too many U of M players right now playing the game that can say that, other than the GOAT, Tom Brady, all right? Le'Veon Bell. Now, we all know about Le'Veon Bell and how he tried to change the game and ask for the whole contract and try to change the game for running backs. He's coming off not a great season, not a great tenure, I should say, with the New York Jets, but now he's with KC, got a good chance to earn the ring there, and we all know that Le'Veon Bell, also a Pro Bowler, when he was doing his thing with the Pittsburgh Steelers, arguably the best running back in the game. Not just the best running back in the game, but the way he played the game, changing it from the dynamic of being patient and then cutting through the hole. Pretty amazing stuff there. Also, don't forget about offensive tackle Jack Conklin, highest drafted Spartan of the Mark D'Antonio era. He spent the past 4 pro seasons with the Tennessee Titans. That's before cashing in on that $42 million deal with the Browns. And I'm going to throw in defensive end Will Golston of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now, who is making The Buccaneers look really good right now and helping Tom Brady cover up some of those mistakes, even though the Bucs do look good right now. Will Colson is playing very good for Tampa Bay. He started 8 of 16 games last year, 38 tackles, 5 tackles for loss. And also, and I'm going to get to this point later on in the debate, but what makes Michigan State's recent success truly special, especially when you look at the Coach D'Antonio era, is Michigan State's ability to take perceived lemons and turn it into lemonade. That's the prime example of that for me, Omar, Darqueze Dennard. He was on nobody's list in high school. This dude was an afterthought. He was an afterthought so much that I forget who was recruiting him. I forget which Michigan State assistant coach was recruiting him, but he wasn't even looking at Darqueze at the time. Saw him one game and said, let's give this kid a shot. He goes out there and becomes one of the greatest Michigan State defenders of all time. Now he's balling out right now with the Atlanta Falcons. So those are my top 5 currently playing. And look, I could do the all-time list. You can bring up Lorenzo White. You can bring up Charles Rogers. You can bring up Bad Moon Rising, Bubba Smith, Percy Snow, Connor Cook, Javon Ringer. I could go on and on and on. But I want to have a little spin on this.
All right, so I see Rashid smirking. So go ahead, Rashid. Go ahead and say what you got to say.
So I thought that this was going to be a serious debate. When you name Kirk Cousins, come on. Like, Kirk, come on.
Hey.
Just because he had one decent, he had like 4 good games throughout his career. I mean, I could say Diamond People-Jones should be on, like, if we're just picking random grads, like Kirk Cousins, really.
Kirk Cousins, there aren't too many starting quarterbacks in the league today that can say they made a Pro Bowl team. That's just the simple fact of the matter. If you take away Tom Brady, can you name me another Michigan quarterback who comes close to the success of Kirk Cousins in the NFL? You can't. It's Tom Brady, a bunch of no names.
Kirk Cousins.
Oh, stop. Denard Robinson?
I think Denard Robinson over.
Denard Robinson is a joke right now in the league. Is he in the league right now?
Kirk Cousins is a joke.
Is Denard Robinson in the league right now? That's a serious question.
No, the answer is no. The answer is no.
Is he at Walmart? Is he at a Michigan t-shirt somewhere right now? I forgot.
So he decided to sit this year out.
Well, Denard Robinson is such a bad quarterback that, correct me if I'm wrong, that he had to change his whole position when he got to the league. Like, he was a running back in the NFL, I believe, right? Now, I didn't do that too long.
Over Kirk Cousins.
Stop it. You're killing me, Rashid. Come on, man. Denard Robinson. I think he's a free agent now. I don't even know. Let me see. Let me do a quick Google. Yeah, it says who played 4 seasons in the NFL, so he ain't even in the league right now.
Yeah, I think, believe it or not, I think Denard Robinson is coaching in Jacksonville, doing something in Jacksonville. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, man, just bad.
Yeah, so that is funny. That is hilarious. Rashid, I don't know. Go ahead.
His players didn't even want to play with him. Like, last year, his players were upset.
There we go. Again, Pro Bowler. Kirk Cousins is still a Pro Bowler. And, hey, he works the system, too. Franchise tag me every year. I'm going to get paid and go out there and prove to you that you should give me another shot another year. You know?
Yeah. All right, we'll give him that one.
For sure.
Well, there you guys go. I mean, you guys kind of rebutted off of each other pretty much right then and there. So we can go ahead and move on now to U of M basketball and MSU basketball. So I'm going to let Al Martin now start on this one. This is the one that I didn't even give the rule of 30 years. So you can actually go ahead and say what you got to say, and even if it's going back in time, because this is the next question.
No, just 30, because I don't want him to use Magic Johnson.
Magic Johnson, I mean, he probably has it on the top of his list. I did not have the rule for 30 years on this one, but I did have it on the next couple of questions. So if he has Magic, you can use Magic.
Well, I kind of went, the same route that I did with football, but yeah, if we're going all time. I mean, this isn't even. This conversation doesn't even come close. I mean, you talk about Michigan State basketball's legacy. I mean, you got Matty Johnson, who's arguably on the Mount Rushmore of basketball players of all time, greatest basketball players of all time. And there's so many ways I could bring up, his sidekick, Greg Kelser at the time as well, but I ain't gonna do that. I want you to make it fair, man. I'll start, again, because you're talking about the player perspective right now, Omar, right?
Yes.
Now we're talking about the legacy of Sir Izzo yet. Are we? Are we going there yet?
Not yet, just players. And you can do all time because I did not put a restriction, and I don't want you to come out with a list that's probably, because I know Rashid got his Fab 5 list. He probably got 4 out of the 5 players on the Fab 5 on his list.
I can do only players that's still playing right now if you want me to do that too.
I'll do both. Okay, all time. Well, number 1, Magic Johnson. Number 2, arguably, one of the top 10 greatest leaders in college basketball history, Monty Cleaves. What he did leading Michigan State to that 2000 national championship game is still stuff of legend. They still show his highlights left and right. Guts, the stories about how he used to motivate his players are stuff of legend. The pad drill and practice, amazing. Number 3, and I am so still irritated about this. First off, I want to say out to the audience out there, I hope everybody has been safe during this crazy, crazy year that is COVID. Also, this is a good stress relief for me. I'm sure like many people out there, I'm sure Omar and Rashid can attest to this, man, but the election and all that craziness that is still going on right now. But Cassius Winston is number 3 on my list. You look at his numbers, unfreaking real. And Cassius is another guy, not athletically intimidating at all, but was so smart. And I'm telling you, if Michigan State was able to have a normal March Madness, Cassius Winston would have done something special for the Spartans. Everybody knew it. They were getting picked on national polls left and right to go all the way. So, anyway, Cassius is number 3 on my list. 4, Scott Skiles, the great Scott Skiles. And I'm going to go 5. See, I could go many ways with this. With number 5, I can bring up Jay Vincent. I can go Greg Kelser. I can bring up Denzel Valentine. Don't forget, Denzel may be struggling right now out in Chicago. That's a product of the system, not him as a player. But he was a 3-time national champion when he was a senior at Michigan State. With number 5, I'm going to go Steve Smith. Steve Smith, longevity in the league. So many all-star appearances. I mean, going up against Michael Jordan and his quotes about Steve being just an amazing talent during his playing days. I'll go there. And then currently playing Miles Bridges, Brent Forbes, Draymond Green, Gary Harris, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Denzel Valentine. All right. I'll give a good mic on that.
All right, there you go, Rashid. We're going to start out. Before you say any comment to his list, you go ahead and go with your list. So you want to go with the top 5 of all time, and then you want to do top 5 current. So, by the way, you got Forbes, Jaren Jackson, Valentine, Bridges, Draymond.
Yeah, I kind of like went 7 on that. We'll go 5. Bridges, Green. We'll go Green, Bridges, Harris, Jackson, and Forbes. That's 5, right?
Yes, and that's a solid starting 5 right there. All right, go ahead, Rashid. What's your 5 all-time U of M players?
Just to make it easy and quick, you said the Fab 5. I mean, this is a team that changed it changed the way we see college basketball. They changed the narrative. It was a culture shock. So I'll put all 5 of them in there. I'll take one out. I'll take King out and I'll put in Glenn Rice.
There
so
you go.
Juwan, Chris, Jalen, Glenn Rice. Is that what that? Yeah. So.
Who was the last one? I forgot who was the last one. I'm missing one more.
Actually, put Ray King in there. I put King out. Yeah, I put King in there. But that's just of all time. That's just because the Fab 5, they were so polarizing. What they did to basketball, college basketball in general, the Black Sox. I mean, everyone wanted to be part of the Fab 5. Even Al did. I can see it in his face. He wanted to be part of the Fab 5. So even to this day, it hurts us that we didn't win. The timeout with Chris Webber, we understand, but it is what it is. But so I'll do that just for the all-time. But if we were talking about the current players, and I'm pretty sure my current players will be the 5 that Al just named, I'll go with LeVert, Tim Hardaway Jr., Jamal Crawford still playing, so I'll put him in there. Duncan Robinson, the three-point specialist, and I'll go Trey Burke, based off of what he did, especially if we're talking about the NCAA, the March Madness. What he did in March Madness was phenomenal. You can't take anything from him. So I will go with those 5: LeVert, Hardaway, Burke, Crawford, and Duncan Robinson.
All right, go ahead, Al.
Can I say this? I think it is an absolute crime, and this is coming from a Michigan State fan here. It is an absolute crime, folks, that Rashid left Cazzie freaking Russell off of his list. Cazzie Russell needs to be at least number 2 on that list. I mean, this dude, well, I think Cazzie averaged like 27 points per game. Actually 30 points per game, I think, in the postseason. College basketball player of the year. The highest scoring average in Wolverines history. Come on, man. Throw Cazzie on that list, Rashid. That's a crime, man. That's a crime, bro.
Cazzie Russell play.
Okay, I give you that.
Cazzie Russell.
I mean, about the 60s.
People that I've seen.
Right. Okay. I got you. I got you, bro. But yeah, I
there's a lot of. I could put tractor trailer in there. I mean, Michigan, they pass some folks. Now, I will say this with regards to Michigan State. Their history is a little bit more, when it comes to the basketball side of things, a little bit more prominent. But I do think that the past few years, Michigan, they're good in college. They don't really do anything in the NBA. So even Mateen Cleaves, amazing college player, can't take anything away from him. But there was a point in time where I would see Mateen Cleaves on every single NBA roster. He was always on the bench. I'm not sure how he did it, but he was always in the playoffs, and he was always cheering his players on. So shout out to Mateen Cleaves for being able to, attach himself to a good team. Definitely was a bust.
But that's like the majority.
The point guards coming out of Michigan State, which is kind of what they're known for. It doesn't really register in the NBA. And Michigan on the flip side, because you were talking about how, in football, Michigan State, they take these rocks and they make them gems. That's what Michigan basketball has been doing. Because Karis LeVert, I never would have thought that he would be this decent in the NBA.
Oh, come on, Rashid. I covered Karis when he was at Michigan.
LeVert was horrible.
Karis was an amazing scorer. If it wasn't for that knee injury, he would have. I saw the writing on the wall.
I think he would translate into the NBA.
I thought it would. But guys riding the bench right now for Michigan, I'll give Duncan Robinson credit. I give a lot of credit to Trey Burke, who was an amazing college basketball player. I got a chance to cover Trey Burke, an amazing young man as well. Shout out to him. And he's worked his way back now, and hopefully he's consistent. But you bring up players like Mo Wagner. What in the heck happened to him? He used to give Michigan State the blues when he was rocking the maize and blue. I remember when
it's still early.
I think he was like holding, giving towels to LeBron whenever LeBron would come over on the bench. He's still riding the bench. DJ Wilson, I'm still waiting on him. Jordan Poole, I'm still waiting on him. Again, props to LeVert. Props to Tim Hardaway Jr., who has worked his tail off. Trey Burke as well. Glenn Robinson, a very athletic player. But I'm still waiting on and again, you may have it. You may have it with Tim Hardaway Jr., but I'm still waiting for that player to break out and be like, dang, yeah, that guy went to U of M in recent years here. Also, Iggy Brasdeikis, he's over there in New York, right, with the Knicks. So, but for Michigan State, we have, Draymond Green. That's all I got to say.
Michigan State has the most overrated player in the NBA right now in Draymond Green.
Draymond got a ring.
Most overrated.
Draymond, say what you want. This brother got a ring. He won multiple rings. Won Defensive Player of the Year. Multiple All-Star. Say what you want about Draymond. And look, Omar can probably attest to this too. Look, we both Michigan State guys, but
Draymond Green, be honest.
He annoys me at times. I ain't gonna lie. He cries a lot. He's a great player, great defensive player. I do think a lot of this too. These are layered conversations because I think the players I brought up with you, with Trey Burke, especially Trey Burke. The system that you're drafted in has a lot to do with your success as well. Not taking away from the player that Draymond Green is, because when he came into the league, Draymond wasn't like off bat, coming to the NBA and bam, oh, that's a superstar here. He took advantage of when he got that playing time, hustled his ass off. made sure on both ends of the floor he was the first one down there, a great defensive player, and then he got those minutes and then showed you what he could do. And he worked on his game, lost a lot of weight, hard worker, in the epitome of what Michigan State basketball is all about. But it's a lot to do with the system you drafted in, too. I mean, Golden State Warriors, you got Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, I can go on and on. That organization is A1, so.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Draymond Green is an excellent number 4. He's a great number 4. I give you that.
There you go.
I'm still waiting on the Michigan number 1. So when's the okay, can I ask this too?
Yes.
Who is the last Michigan player to win an NBA championship who was a starter?
That's a great question.
That's a question for our viewers out there. I can't think of one right now.
Definitely.
I don't know.
Definitely, that is a great question.
Was a starter who went to U of M. Has there ever been one? I don't know.
Great question, and I definitely will share that with you if there is some answer out there. I know Rashid is thinking about it really hard right now.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah, you may have a brain aneurysm trying to think about that one, man. That's a really tough one. I can't think of anybody.
All right, and while you're thinking, Rashid, we are going to move on to the next question. I'm loving the back and forth right now between you two. I appreciate it. So my next question to Rashid, now we're going to move into like the program and the coaching and all that, all the above. So in the last 30 years, this is the 30-year part where we're talking about. Can you answer me, why has U of M football been the more dominant football program? We're talking 30 years, Rashid, right now. So in the last 30 years, why has U of M been the more dominant football program?
All right, so full disclaimer, when you originally asked me to do this, I only normally debate if I can win a debate. So if it was in the past 10 years, even the past 20 years, I'm not taking this debate because it's not even close. Michigan State, they outperformed Michigan, especially in football. But when you say 30, then all right, I can play the game because it evens up a little bit. So we've definitely been more dominant. When we have good coaching, Lloyd Carr, we did our thing. We had a couple stretches in there where we had some, not subpar coaches. Rodriguez, Brady Hope was decent, and now we got Harbaugh right now who needs to go based off of the fact that he can't beat his rival. So in recent times, Michigan State wins, but I mean historically Michigan has always been the better team, the most winningest team in NFL or the college history. I mean, we can go on and on and on and on. For one stretch, I think Michigan was like 30 out of 38 against Michigan State. So it's been this dominance that we've had with Michigan State. But in recent years, Michigan State definitely they take it's them. I give them their credit where credit's due.
All right.
And they had the better coach. They had Antonio, who was a better coach than all the coaches that we had. So I definitely got to give Michigan State credit on this one.
All right, well, there you go, Al. I mean, I guess he kind of helped out, but I want to hear what you have to say. Why has MSU football been the more dominant football program in the last 30 years?
Well, Rashid just kind of basically just waved the white flag on this one. It's that obvious. I mean, come on, man. D'Antonio, who I believe was hired in 2006. I mean, you look at what he was able to do. And how he was able to take this program from a laughingstock, to be honest with you, into a legit contender within the conference, competing for the Big Ten, competing, for a national title, went to the college football playoff that one year, and you look at earning a share of the Big Ten title in 2010, earning a spot in the conference championship game back in 2011, won it outright in 2013, 2015. I was there in Pasadena when Michigan State ended up winning their first Rose Bowl since 1988. The following year, you go to the Cotton Bowl. You win that in one of the greatest Michigan State football games of all time against Baylor. You go and play in the college football playoff. Not many teams in college football can say that they went to a college football playoff game. Yeah, we got mollywopped by former Michigan State football coach Nick Saban, but you still played in that game. Not a lot of programs can say that. It's just the consistency throughout the D'Antonio era. the legacy that he left. And also, again, I go back to, how you develop players. How D'Antonio was able to do it is even arguably more fascinating than the success itself. When you take guys, because Michigan, even during those rough Michigan years, Michigan still, and they've always done this, still out-recruits Michigan State. Kids want to go to that program over Michigan State football. And you still get that kind of talent that's not, again, you're not winning the state, but D'Antonio, he went to his roots in Ohio, was able to recruit very well there and find some diamonds in the rough, and that's the difference for me. Development. How you develop the talent that you get is key. And it's why, former Ohio State coach Urban Meyer, I remember he told the Columbus Dispatch that, D'Antonio was one of the best tacticians in the game of football that he's ever coached against. And that's coming from Urban Meyer. So, hey, and then you saw what happened on Saturday. It continues. It continues, right? I mean, and that's a game, and Rashid admitted it. Harbaugh got to go. Like, all the passes y'all been giving this, all the passes y'all been giving this man, he has not sniffed Indy to at least even play in the Big Ten championship game. How many bowl wins does he have? I think the last time he won a bowl game was 2015, something like that. You're not competing against Ohio State or against your rivals, period. 1-6 at home at the Big House against your rivals, Michigan State and Ohio State. Like, come on, dude. Mel Tucker comes in first year, a 24-point underdog, shocks everybody. This conversation ain't even close, man.
All right, before you say, I just wanted to quickly say that my brother Ali did just chime in, by the way, U of M grad. Said Glenn Rice was the starter on the Lakers, 99-2000 Lakers championship team. So that was the last time.
With Kobe and Shaq?
Yeah.
You know those boys? He was a starter on that team? I didn't know that.
You could fact check him, but he probably looked it up and found that out. So
I'm pretty sure he won the MVP.
Glenn Rice?
Nah, rest in peace to the Bean. But no, that was Shaq. I mean, Shaq, we all know. That's Rashid being funny there. But yeah, I didn't know. I have to look up to see if Glenn Rice or Glenn. You say Glenn Rice?
Yeah, he said Glenn Rice, 99-2000, and he said facts. So he's saying definitely factual.
Ali knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, Ali. He would not comment on Facebook. He would not comment.
Average like 3 points. 3 points average on that roster, man. I have to look that up.
Yeah. But Rashid, do you want to rebuttal off of anything Al just said about what he said about MSU's program and everything like that?
It's not too much I can say, to be honest with you. I mean, you guys had our numbers the past few years. Definitely time for Harbaugh to go. He can't beat his rivals. If you can't beat Ohio State, number one, he's 0 for whatever, and he's losing to Michigan State teams where we should have won. Like, we should have won this past weekend. So, yeah, no more excuses for Harbaugh. I mean, it's been real, but time to bring in some new blood, I guess.
Yo, can I say this? I respect Rashid, man. There are so many Michigan fans who are so delusional and who will actually call my show and argue with me about how he can still turn this around. Props to you, dude. I'm a firm believer, man. If you're a fan, a true fan of your team, you hold your program accountable. And that's what you got to do. You're doing that, Rashid, and hopefully change will come. Now, I'm curious to know, man, I don't know if you got a name. I'm putting you on the spot by asking this, but you got a name that you would like to see replace her?
I don't. I'd like to get Fleck before, but I don't really have a name, to be honest with you. But I will say this about Michigan fans. I think a lot of times it's because of sometimes you can let coaches go a little bit too early. So some programs have the tendency to let them go before giving them a shot. So I was giving Harbaugh the benefit of the doubt. Give me 4 or 5 years, but I mean, he's been there a little bit too long now. He hasn't really produced, especially not against top tier level teams. So I mean, his time is coming.
All hype, man. It was just the khakis and the recruiting concerts and the sleepovers at recruits' house and taking his shirt off and playing pickup football. I'm like, dude, can you coach? All right, I'm done, Omar. Go ahead.
He definitely was a hype man. But I'm gonna move on to the next question. So the same question, but now we're talking about basketball, and the argument is actually closer than people think. I know people might think that MSU is the powerhouse, but Michigan's up there. So my next question to you, and I'm gonna start off with Al. So in the last 30 years, why has MSU basketball been the more dominant basketball program? Yeah,
starting with me.
Yeah, I'm gonna start off with you, Al, and then I'm gonna let Rashid go.
Oh man, this is look. Now I'll say this. I think in Michigan State land up here in East Lansing, look, we are holding our program accountable to a degree because look, Tom Izzo, basketball Hall of Famer. He entered the hall with greats like Allen Iverson, for goodness sake. His resume speaks for itself. I mean, gone to and won the Big Ten multiple years, also the Big Ten tournament, 10-time Big Ten regular season champion, 6-time Big Ten tournament champion, 8-time Final Four appearance maker, one national championship though. And we getting kind of tired of, and we sound so spoiled in saying this, because we just went to the Final Four, in 2019, beating Zion Williamson and Duke. Which wasn't that long ago at all. That was 2019, 2015 prior to that. But we're still waiting on number 2, and we had a real good opportunity to do it. Playing the first weekend in our basically our backyard at Little Caesars Arena, got beat by Syracuse. That was a team that had so much promise. That Miles Bridges was on that squad along with Jaren Jackson Jr. But I digress. I say all that to say that when you look at the consistent success of Tom Izzo and how he's able to still get to Final Fours, even when there were a lot of people out there saying that Tom Izzo's coaching philosophy is old and dead and gone and you can't do it, he yells too much. Well, he still finds a way to right when March comes, because sometimes we've seen Michigan State have some hiccups throughout the regular season. And this is the thing I love about Michigan State as well. What I love about Tom Izzo is he's not afraid to play the big dogs early on in the year because he's got this philosophy. If you play the big dogs early, it's a good litmus test to see what holes you got in that boat, so you can plug those holes and get better. And the amount of talent he's putting in the NBA. I mean, when you look at his overall resume, is not even close. I know Rashid is going to bring up John B. because John Beilein, it's hard to hate that man. Here's a quick side story. I remember when I was a rookie reporter at Channel 6 News in Lansing, I got the opportunity to go out to Ann Arbor on an assignment right around March Madness of that year. And this was the year that Michigan, if you remember, Michigan played Louisville. Louisville got that national championship stripped, by the way, due to the sex scandal of Rick Pitino. Let's not even go on that rant. But I met John Beilein, and he's one of those dudes you meet. And as much as I hate the maize and blue, you can't hate this dude. He just comes in, he shakes your hand, he smiles. How you doing? How's your family? You don't even know my family. You just met me that like 2 seconds ago. Just an amazing, amazing guy. But even his resume, when you compare it to the overall resume of Tom Izzo, it pales in comparison.
Rashid, your turn. Why is University of Michigan the more powerful basketball program in the last 30 years?
So I think the roles have somewhat reversed, right? Because oftentimes when you think of MSU basketball, you think that they're dominant. But of recent years, I think I would give that to Michigan. So just like in football, you may think the Michigan program is a lot more dominant, but in recent years, you got to give it to MSU. But again, in basketball, I think MSU has underperformed for the most part, if you ask me. Because every single year, I think they are ranked top 5 coming up. Every single year, they have some of the best recruits. Every single year, you're expecting them to win, especially with the Izzo, amazing coach. So you expect Michigan State to be there, but it seems like they've been falling short. And on the other hand, just like in football, Michigan, they have these players who you don't know anything about. And next thing you know, Beilein, especially him, he was able to develop these players and make them NBA players. Normally, after 1 or 2 years, you had Rasdakis and Wagner. You had all these players that Beilein was able to develop. And then because of that, Michigan was able to do some things. Again, they went to the championship game, 2 times in the past 6 years. I'm going to take the Louisville championship. I'm going to say we won that year. since it was stripped from them.
They do that.
Won then. Somebody had to win. So
we all know
Louisville. It was Michigan. But so Michigan they've overperformed these past few years. So that's why I would give the nod to Michigan because of that. And again, like State always has the better recruits in basketball. They always are expected to be there, but they've been falling short. Like they won in 2000 or 2001, and they haven't won since. So it's like
Yeah, we definitely getting tired over here, without a doubt. But you look at the last 5 meetings, Michigan State has won, I believe, 4 of the last 5 meetings between the two schools. Fact check me on that, but that's off the dome. I believe that's correct though. I mean, you guys won the last meeting in January, the most recent meeting, but the 4 times before that, we won 4 straight. And then you guys had a 3-game win streak from like 2017 to 2018. And I don't know what it was, but Cassius Winston was kind of like, I don't know, like he would go out there and it was like he saw a boogeyman or something like that anytime he played you guys, man. But no doubt about it though, John Beilein, I give a lot of credit to him because he really did make Michigan he kind of returned to the glory days of the Fab Five, to be honest with you. He kind of put it back on the map. He kind of put it back on the map, but still, they're still not on State's level just yet. We'll see what Juwan Howard does.
You guys underperformed a little bit because you had Bridges and Winston the 1 year, correct?
We had Bridges
in the NCAA champ. Like they should win it all. And
right, well, everybody chose. I mean, that year they lost to Syracuse. And that's the Omar. Can you bring up who was the guy at the time? And this is when everybody bashed Tom Izzo.
Yeah.
I kind of had thought like this Tom Izzo may need to go now, and he's lost it. But he benched
Ben Carter.
Jackson. Ben Carter.
Yeah.
He benched Jaren Jackson in the clutch, and everybody's yelling like, dude, put Jaren back in the game. He put in Ben Carter to go against that Syracuse zone. And it deflated everything, and Michigan State ended up losing. But yeah, that was a year that you had Cassius Winston running point, you had Miles Bridges out there, you had Jaren Jackson, you had Joshua Langford. I mean, that was an absolute stacked team that a lot of people were choosing to win a national championship. So that's the thing, though. That's the difference. Expectations are what sink or swim you as a program. Tom Izzo has built this program to an Alabama college football level, where you are expected to go and compete for national championships every year. And when you fall short, it's glaring. So,
thank you guys for both. And this is just a question that I didn't ask. I didn't have written down. It's not really a debate question. You guys can debate it if y'all have different answers. But I wonder what your answers are going to be now that I'm hearing your answers. So, I feel like with Mark D'Antonio and Harbaugh, Harbaugh gets the recruits. Mark D'Antonio develops the players a lot better that are not, 4 or 5 star players. And then you can kind of say the same thing in basketball where Izzo was getting the recruits and Beilein was developing better players. Developing players and they're performing well, especially in the NBA. So I guess my question to you guys is, what's more important, getting the recruits or developing 2 3-star players? And I'm going to start off with you, Rashid. I'm going to let you go first, and then I'll let Al go next.
I would say probably developing, because you can get recruits all day. Michigan, they've been getting recruits, 4-star recruits. If they're unable to develop them into professional athletes, then what's the point? And, of recent, the recruits, the 4 stars, 5 stars, whatever, we don't have a Big Ten championship to speak for. We never made it to the playoffs. So it's great to get those recruits, and it helps with hope. And I think we all need a little bit of hope sometimes. But at the end of the day, you want to see that development, and you want to see it to transpire into something that you can actually something tangible. Give me a championship. Give me something. Big Ten championship. I just want to make it to the playoffs. But that we've been unable to do that, especially in football. And then on the flip side of things, in basketball, like the development, and when you get going to March Madness, and as a Michigan fan, like you have hope because you've seen it before. You've seen the teams that gel at the right time. You see what the coaches is doing, and then when they continue to win and make it to the championship game, even though we are 1-2 in the past six years, I'm counting the Louisville win. I think so. Development to me is a little bit more important.
Al, what are your thoughts?
The reason Rashid is saying that is because Michigan football is so dang bad at developing top talent. We all know recruiting, if you ain't got the talent in college sports, you ain't going to compete with the big dogs. Period. Simple as that. And look, Michigan State's a perfect example. Michigan State football, yeah, we developed all this talent, right? D'Antoni did a great job. The Darquez, the Nars of the world, the Trey Wayans of the world, turning lemons into lemonade, right? But still, we haven't won a national championship. If you look at historically, the programs that are always year after year after year in the conversation to win natties is the Alabamas, it's the Clemsons, it's the Ohio States, the Oklahomas, the LSUs, the Florida States in college football. In college basketball, what is it? It's the Kentuckys, it's the North Carolinas, it's the Kansases, it's the UCLAs. Those programs, when you look at those recruiting forums like 247 Sports, those programs are always in the top 10 recruiting wise. If you get big time recruits and just have average college football coaches who can develop talent just a little bit, you're going to be in the conversation. I have seen it firsthand. I used to be where Rashid is. We're like, oh man, when you develop these guys, I don't care who you get. No, you got to have the talent. And I see the difference that talent makes in college sports. It's the reason why these big time 5-star guys got all this hype. Who is it who just committed to Michigan State? Imani Bates. Perfect example. Imani Bates, like the second coming of LeBron James, right? There's a reason why he's so hyped. Because this kid can legit ball. I mean, he could really go. I don't know if the rule is going to be in place by the time he graduates, but he's a player that can go straight from high school to the league. I mean, when you get transcendent talent like that, I could coach the team. I've never been a coach in my entire life. If you just have an average coach, you can still compete if you got the talent, man. Simple as that.
And I think it's different. And so in basketball, I think talent definitely trumps.
Yeah, because you can impact the game more as a player, right?
You only got 5 players. And I think that in football, the teams that you see that are continuing consistently winning these championships, they're the teams that can both recruit and develop. So Alabama, they always top 5 recruiting and do an amazing job developing. You have 15 players every single year get drafted. Same thing with Clemson. So in football, I think it's a little bit more important to actually be able to recruit and to develop.
I agree with that.
They are recruiting, but they're not developing. Michigan State, they are developing, but that's why neither one of us has any championships right now, because you got to do both in order to win, especially in football.
I agree. And an example I can also bring up, too, is, Urban Meyer leaves. There was all this conversation about, Urban Meyer's gone. The Big Ten is wide open now. No. Ryan Day comes in, gets these big-time recruits still, and is still able to compete. And Ryan Day's a really good coach. We found that out as well. I mean, he's still developing. But, yeah, I agree. I'm more so in football. I agree with Rashid there. More so in football than basketball. But, yeah, you still got to have top recruiting now.
Yeah.
All right, well, the final question that I have here is one that I want to know. It's almost like a pitching thing for the university you guys are representing. And so I'm going to let Al go first on this one. So if you had a kid, your own kid, by the way, that had offers from U of M or MSU, why would you send your kid to Michigan State University?
Oh, man, I'm not even going to take the sports route here, man. It's just the greatest university of all time. I mean, come on, dude. I went to Michigan State I was a freshman in 2008. I graduated in 2012. And the experience that I had as a student at Michigan State University, it's hard to put into words just how much I grew up, how much fun I had. I pledged my fraternity there, and I have a lifelong brotherhood with my frat brothers, my college roommates. We still talk just about every day. Campus is beautiful. Campus is huge. The parties are crazy. I mean, come on, man. Michigan State, we up there, when it comes to the parties. It's just an overall amazing experience, and it makes you grow up. And what I also love about it, for me, being from Detroit, was East Lansing is like what, an hour, 15-minute drive from Detroit. So it was like I was far, but I wasn't far. You know what I mean? I was still close to home. And it's just, I don't know, man. Just the experience at Michigan State, there's nothing that can top it, man. So, yeah.
There goes Al's pitch. Rashid, same question to you. If you had a kid that had offers from U of M or MSU, why would you send your kid to University of Michigan?
All right, so here's the thing. When it comes to Michigan, academically, Michigan is amazing. Me personally, you said my child, I would send them to Michigan, definitely. If it were me, I wouldn't choose Michigan. I think a lot of times Michigan, they can be real pompous. They can be a little bit arrogant. Michigan, like the school itself, not a big fan of it. Other than its academics, I will say that. I would choose, in me living in Ohio, Columbus, OSU is an amazing college when it comes to the experience, when it comes to what they have to offer. It just seems like a fun place to be. I won't even lie. So I would tell my child to go to Michigan because I want them to get the best academically. But if it were me choosing, I'm not choosing Michigan. I choose Wayne State over Michigan.
Yo!
I would also choose Wayne State over MSU.
I was about to say, can we give Rashid a hand clap there? And then he ruined it with that last statement. But yo, that is such. Hey, man, I give you after when two fighters fight, I gotta give them a little bow there because look, that's just a very honest take there. Because you hear it all the time. I hear it all the time. I got friends that went to U of M, and they have like that kind of it's like this like pompous underlayer there. No,
dude, there's definitely the arrogance that people that go to Michigan that they have.
Yeah.
Some people. I'm gonna say all people, but
not all, but a lot of them. So yeah.
Hey,
yeah, this was fun.
Rashid is definitely not gonna get his Michigan fans happy when they later on watch this. And they're gonna be like, Rashid, what were you doing? You were agreeing with him half the time, man. No, but
again, going to Michigan, unless you're going for academics, which is great, you should go for it. Then choose Michigan. But if you want the experience, I would definitely go with many other colleges before I pick Michigan.
Yeah, OSU is dope. I visited OSU's campus, and OSU is amazing.
For as much as I hate OSU,
right?
OSU's campus, I mean, it is amazing. I won't even lie.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I got to go to the shoe a few years. Was that 2 years ago? I went to the shoe, and the shoe was crazy nice too.
Yeah.
And then, so I guess any final words out there? Any final last comments you want to make? I'm gonna let Rashid go ahead and go first. Like any final word you want to throw out there about this whole conversation that we had today?
I think Michigan is still the better program. I think it's easy. Michigan they've been underperforming, but us underperforming honestly is still probably better than MSU when they overperform. So I think record-wise and things like that, overall, it's still the same. Michigan may probably have the better record in the past 10 years. So when we underperform, we're still better than MSU, number one. Number two, get rid of Harbaugh, kind of get some new blood in there. Yeah, that's all I got.
All right, there you go. Al, any final statement, final word?
Well, first off, I want to tip my cap to Rashid. This has been fun, and Omar, thank you so much for inviting me.
Al.
Definitely, bro. You are a great debater, man, and this was awesome. It's good. It's refreshing to talk and debate against a realistic U of M fan. That said, I just want to look and say I'm just talking to the Spartan fans right now. Embrace this moment, okay? Still live high on it. What happened on Saturday? We wasn't supposed to do that. All right, I was sitting on that couch watching that game like this is about to get ugly. We are 24-point underdogs. I just want this thing to be close. And Mel Tucker goes out there and he doesn't just compete, but he wins it. Look, I love the football rivalry so much because it's so ugly and hateful. Joe Milton taking shots at Antoine Simmons afterwards saying, who's he? That was great. I love that. So embrace this, Michigan State fans. We got bragging rights for another year. We'll see what happens when the college basketball season starts, and we'll see what Juwan Howard has cooking.
It should be fun.
We talk about expectations again. Another year. We only had eight weeks this year, and I'm thinking, okay, Michigan, let's do something, put something together. And it's already after the second week, no more hope. So it's extremely depressing, and it's something that we definitely need to
I heard that
needs to change.
There's a debate that said, I don't know if Michigan State fans are happy that they won the game or more happy that Michigan lost the game. You know, like, and that was the question. And honestly, when they said that, I was like, you know what, man, that is a good question, man, because that Rutgers loss hurt us as a school in terms of expectations. But, like, winning that game, I don't know if, like, it was just because of seeing that Michigan fans, like, their season is over in week 2. You know, we're in the same boat, kind of, but just a little higher because we end up beating them. But, you know, definitely an interesting moment. But, again, fellas, thank you guys so much taking this time out. I know y'all had to, like, get some stuff prepared, too, so it wasn't just this 1 hour we were together. So I really do appreciate it, guys. And best believe I'm going to come at you guys for future topics and debates. You know, this was like a nice one. You know, I kind of want to get into more controversial ones, but we'll see what happens. But thank you guys for doing this. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Al. It's been fun, Al.
Yes, it's been fun, Rashid. Appreciate you guys, man. Go green.
Go white.
Go Wayne State. Wayne State Warriors.
Thank you, guys. All right, fellas, y'all be blessed, man. Thank you.
All right, have a good one.
All right.